Hello everyone. In this session we will discuss about pesticides. We will discuss their classification and we will discuss in depth about biopesticides. Firstly, what is a pesticide? So pesticide, we can say it has a toxic chemical substance or a mixture of substances or biological agents that are released intentionally into the environment in order to avoid, deter or control or kill and destroy populations of insects, weeds, rodents, fungi or other harmful pests that is detrimental for the agricultural commodities and their storage, their processing and transport. The Food and Agriculture Organization, that is the FAO, has defined pesticide as any substance or mixture of substances intended for preventing, destroying, or controlling any pest, including vectors of human or animal diseases, unwanted species of plants or animals, causing harm during or otherwise interfering with the production, processing, storage, transport, or marketing of food, agricultural commodities, wood and wood products, or animal feedstuffs, or substances that may be administered to animals for the control of insects or other pests. Pesticides, they work by attracting or by seducing and then destroying or mitigating the pest. So the pest can be broadly defined as the plant or animals that can jeopardize our food or health and our comfort. So pest can be defined as the plants or animals that can jeopardize our food and health or comfort. A little bit of history about pesticides. So the use of pesticide actually dates back to the times of ancient Rome, and in the ancient Rome the people used to burn sulfur for killing the pest, and they used salt, ashes and bitters for controlling the weeds. They also used arsenic as an insecticide. And in the 16th century, a mixture of honey and arsenic was used to controlling ants. In the late 18th century, farmers in the USA started using certain chemicals such as nicotine sulfate, calcium arsenate, and sulfur for field-related pests. In 1867, an impure form of copper arsenic was used to control the outbreak of Colorado potato beetle in the USA. So the major breakthrough in this pesticide development occurred in the period around the Second World War, when several effective and inexpensive pesticides were synthesized and produced. This period is marked by the discovery of aldrin, DDT, etc. Now we will discuss the types of pesticides. So they can be classified on different grounds. So they can be grouped by types of pesticides types of pests they kill. Insecticides are pesticides that kill insects. Herbicides are those that kill plants. Rodenticides are detrimental for rodents, that is rats and mice. Bactericides are detrimental for bacteria. Fungicides are detrimental for fungi, and larvicides are detrimental for larvae. Now, another basis of classification is based on the action. The pesticides can be classified as destroying, repelling, and mitigating agents. Now, based on how biodegradable the pesticides are, they can be classified into biodegradable and persistent. The biodegradable ones are those which can be broken down by microbes and other living beings into harmless compounds. The persistent ones are those which may take months or years to break down. Another way to classify pesticide is to consider those that are chemical forms or are derived from a common source or production method. So based on the chemically related pesticides, they are divided into organophosphate, carbamate, organochloride insecticides, pyrethroid, sulfonyl urea herbicides, and biopesticides. So first, the organophosphate. The organophosphates are insecticides. How they are affecting the insect is that they affect the nervous system by disrupting the enzyme that regulates a neurotransmitter in these insects. The next class is carbamate. They are also somewhat similar to organophosphate. They work in the same method, that is, they will affect the nervous system by disrupting an enzyme that regulates the neurotransmitter. But this enzyme effects are reversible. We can reverse the effect. Next one is organochlorine insecticides. The DDT and all come under this group. They were commonly used, but now many countries have removed these insecticides because of their persistence in the environment and also health related issues. For example, under the organochlorine classes, DDT, chlordane, toxaphene, etc. The next one is pyrethroid. They are a synthetic version of pyrethrin, a natural occurring pesticide found in the chrysanthemum flower. They were developed in such a way as to maximize their stability in the environment. So they are semi-synthetic kind of pesticide. The next one is sulfonyl urea herbicides. These have been commercialized for weed control, such as pyrithiobacter sodium, cyclosulfamuron, and bispiriac sodium, terbacil, sulfometuron, methyl sulfosulfuron. There are so many varieties. The next class is biopesticides, and the biopesticides are certain types of pesticides that are derived from natural materials such as animals, plants, bacteria, and certain minerals. We will discuss about that later. So this is how pesticides are classified according to their chemical origin. Now we will discuss the merits of using pesticides. So pesticides provide primary as well as secondary benefits. So the primary benefit is that by direct usage of pesticides, such as they will kill the insects that feed on this crop. So we have a primary benefit. And secondary benefits is that benefits that will prolong for longer periods. That is, as a result of the primary benefits, we will receive these secondary benefits. If we consider worldwide, 40% of agricultural produce is lost due to plant diseases, weeds, and pests collectively. So if there is no pesticide to control all this, there will be a lot more crop losses, and these crop losses will increase in greater force. So these pesticides not only control this pest, but they also increase the yield of the crops considerably. So that is one of the secondary benefits we receive from these things. If you are not using pesticides, then obviously crop production will decline because of the disastrous effect of this pest. So that will automatically lead to decline in food production, and that would create a food shortage that would ultimately result in increased prices of food commodities. So therefore pesticides, they indirectly play a key role in keeping the food prices under control. Many agricultural commodities are vulnerable to attack by aflatoxin, and insect control is necessary to prevent the passage of these toxins from insect to plant. What is aflatoxin? Aflatoxin is a carcinogen that can cause liver and other type of cancers in humans, and they lower the body's natural immune response and can lead to impaired growth and development in children. So crop protection chemicals are used to control insect mediated aflatoxin contamination. Pesticides also prevent disease outbreak through the control of rodent and insect vectors, hence they contribute to improved human health. Pesticides also protect forest and other wildlife habitats from invasive species of plants and non-native insects and other pests. So improved agricultural yields help the farmers to produce more food without expanding their agricultural land, which consequently protects the biodiversity. They will not have to go to the forest and clear their lands for cultivation because they are already obtaining the benefits from their available croplands. Insecticides also improve home sanitary conditions by keeping populations of bugs and houseflies also under control. Moreover, pesticides also preserve the beauty of recreational sports by controlling weeds and also prevent structural damages associated with termite infestations. Herbicides and insecticides are used to prevent the turf on the grounds, pitches, and the golf course. Now we will discuss the demerits of pesticide. Actually, the risk associated with the pesticide, they have surpassed all their beneficial effects. Pesticides have drastic effects on non-target species and affect animal and plant biodiversity, aquatic as well as terrestrial food webs and ecosystem. Uncontrolled use of pesticides has resulted in the reduction of several terrestrial and aquatic animal and plant species. They have also threatened the survival of some rare species such as bald eagle, some type of falcon and osprey. Additionally, air, water and soil bodies have also been contaminated with these chemicals to toxic levels. Among the categories of pesticides, insecticides are considered to be the most toxic, whereas fungicides and herbicides are the second and third on the toxicity list. Pesticides enter the natural ecosystem by two different means depending upon their solubility. If they are water soluble, pesticides will get dissolved in the water and enter groundwater, streams, rivers, lakes, hence causing harm to the untargeted species. On the other hand, if they are fat soluble pesticides, they will enter the bodies of animals by a process known as bioamplification, and they get absorbed in the fatty tissues of the animals, hence resulting in the persistence of these pesticides in food chain for extended periods of time. We will discuss what is bioamplification. We will discuss bioamplification with an example. So, the small concentration of pesticide, they will enter the bodies of animals that are in the low level of the food chain, such as for example grasshopper, and they are termed as the primary consumers. Now there are secondary consumers that will consume this grasshopper. For example, shrews, they will eat these grasshoppers and therefore the concentration of pesticide will increase in their bodies. When the high level predators such as owl eats these shrews and other prey, the pesticide concentration will eventually increase by many folds in their body. Therefore, the higher the trophic level, the greater will be the pesticide concentration, and this is known as bioamplification. So, with increasing the trophic level in the food chain, the pesticide concentration will increase. This process disrupts the whole ecosystem as more species in higher trophic level will die due to the toxicity of these pesticides, and this will eventually increase the population of the secondary consumers and decrease the population of the primary consumers. So this ecosystem balance will be disturbed. This is a figure explaining the example that I have told before. So the orange circles are grasshoppers, and they are the primary consumers, and there will be secondary consumers will consume these grasshoppers, and that is shrews shown in this green circle, and they will consume the primary consumers. They will consume the primary consumers, and the concentration of the pesticide will increase in their body. And then there is the top level consumers such as owl, bald and eagles. They will consume this secondary consumers, that is shrews, and this concentration will increase by many folds in their body. So that is shown here. Now we will discuss the risk associated with each level of ecosystem and each level of the risk associated with these pesticides. The first one is threats to biodiversity. We already talked about bioamplification and how that is detrimental for the ecosystem balance. So the accumulation of pesticide in the food chain is of greatest concern as it is directly affecting the predators and raptors. But indirectly, pesticides can also reduce the quantity of weeds, shrubs and insects on which higher orders feed. So spraying of insecticides, herbicides and fungicides have also been linked to decline in the population of rare species of animals and birds, because there are some other animals that will be feeding on these weeds and these shrubs and all. So if we are using herbicides for them, and these weeds and shrubs will disappear, then obviously the animals that are feeding on these weeds and shrubs will also disappear. Additionally, their long-term and frequent usage of this pesticides will lead to bioaccumulation or bioamplification, as we talked before. The next threat is threat to aquatic biodiversity. We already told the water-soluble pesticide will leach into this groundwater system and this, lakes and streams. So pesticides, they will enter the water via drift or by runoff, leaching through the soil, or they may be applied directly into the surface water in some cases, such as for mosquito control and all. They are mosquito control and all, we directly apply the pesticide into the water surface. So pesticide contaminated water poses a great threat to aquatic form of life. It can affect aquatic plants, decrease dissolved oxygen in the water, and can cause physiological and behavioral changes in the fish populations. In several studies, lawn care pesticides have been found in surface water and water bodies such as ponds, streams, and lakes. Pesticides which are applied to land drift to the aquatic ecosystem, and there they are toxic to fishes, and they will also lead to bioamplification. These pesticides are not only toxic but also they will interact with the stressors, which include harmful algal blooms. With the overuse of pesticides, a decline in the population of different fish species is also observed in certain areas. So sometimes this over pesticide use can also lead to algal blooms, and also that is not good for the other ecosystem, other fishes and other organisms in this aquatic ecosystem. Aquatic animals are exposed to pesticides in three ways, that is dermally, breathing, and orally. Dermally is by direct absorption via skin. Breathing is by uptake that will happen through gills, and orally is by drinking contaminated water. About 80% of dissolved oxygen is provided by the aquatic plants, and it is necessary for the sustenance of aquatic life. Killing of aquatic plants by herbicides results in drastically low oxygen levels, and it will ultimately lead to suffocation of fish and reduced fish productivity. Some examples of pesticide that is toxic to the aquatic ecosystem is given. The atrazine, it is toxic to some fish species, and they also indirectly affect the immune system of some amphibians. Amphibians are chiefly affected by these pesticides of the contaminated waters, in addition to overexploitation and habitat loss. For example, carbaryl, it has been found to have toxic effects for several amphibian species, whereas herbicide glyphosate is known to cause high mortality of tadpoles and juvenile frogs. Small concentration of malathion also have shown change in the abundance and composition of plankton and periphyton population that consequently affect the growth of frog tadpoles. Moreover, chlorpyrifos and endosulfan also cause serious damage to amphibians. The reproductive potential of aquatic life forms also reduce due to the herbicide spraying near the weedy fish nurseries, which eventually reduces the amount of shelter that is required by young fish to hide from predators. The next threat is threat to terrestrial biodiversity. So pesticides are also having detrimental effect on the terrestrial biodiversity. In addition to killing the non-target plants, the drifting or volatilization of phenoxy herbicides can injure nearby trees and shrubs. The herbicide glyphosate, they increases the susceptibility of plants to diseases, and they reduces the quality of seeds. Even low doses of herbicides like sulfonylureas, sulfonamides, imidazolinoids have devastating effect on the productivity of non-target crops, natural plant commodities, and wildlife. Population of beneficial insects such as bees, that is helping in pollination, beetles, they can also significantly decline by the use of this broad spectrum insecticides such as carbamates or organophosphate. The insect population has also been found to be greater on organic farms compared to non-organic ones. So this synergistic effect of the pyrethroids and triazole or imidazole fungicides are found to be harmful for honeybees. Neonicotinoids are found to be toxic for bees. The imidacloprid, even at low doses, they are negatively affects on the foraging behavior of these bees, and also they will reduce the learning capacity of honeybees. The greatest havoc wreaked by this neonicotinoids is the sudden disappearing of honeybees at the very start of the 21st century. This was a major concern to food industry because 1/3 of the food production depends on the pollination by bees. Pesticide is also detrimental to some birds. The bald eagle population of USA declined primarily because of their exposure to DDT. Fungicides also reduce the birds and mammal populations by killing the earthworms on which they feed. When we apply the pesticides in granular forms, they are disguised as food grains for these birds, and they will consume this and they will eventually die. Organophosphate insecticides are highly toxic to birds. The major concern of pesticide overuse is their leaching into the soil. That is, there will be microbes residing in the soil, and if these microbes are affected by these pesticides, it will eventually decrease the quality of the soil. It will decrease the soil fertility. We all know several microbes are involved in the fixation of atmospheric nitrogen and the fixation of phosphorus and many such biogeochemical cycles. So if all these fungicides and insecticides they disrupt this nitrification and denitrification bacteria dependent processes, so ultimately they will cause a decline in the balance of biogeochemical cycles. A herbicide, triclopyr, they inhibit the soil bacteria that is involved in the transformation of ammonia to nitrite. The glyphosate, it is a non-selective herbicide and it reduces the growth and activity of nitrogen-fixing bacteria. And 2,4-D, they inhibit the transformation of ammonia into nitrate that is carried out by the soil bacteria. So they are a major problem. Herbicides are also known to inhibit the growth of symbiotic mycorrhizal fungi that is helping in the nutrient uptake for plants. Oxadiazone has been known to reduce the number of fungal spores, whereas triclopyr is having toxic effect to certain species of mycorrhizal fungi. Insecticides and fungicides, they produce neurotoxic effect in the earthworms, and after a long-term exposure they are physiologically damaged. We all know if earthworms disappear from the soil, our crop yield is also going to disappear. The glyphosate and chlorpyrifos have deleterious effect on earthworms at the cellular level, causing DNA damage. The glyphosate is also affecting the feeding activity and viability of the earthworms. The neonicotinoids have a tendency to accumulate in the soil, therefore they can kill earthworms such as Yersinia foetida species.